Let's now bring in some foliage assets into the scene to add a little bit of detail in the shot. Okay, I'm gonna go into the content browser and open up this fab folder. I'm gonna go into the Megascans folder, go into the plants folder, and in here I'm gonna enable the static mesh filter, which is gonna allow me to view all the static meshes that we have for the foliage assets. So I'm just gonna go in here into this drop down menu. I'm gonna go into the foliage mode, and in here you can see that we have this window. I'm just gonna press Control A to select all these static meshes, and I'm gonna drag them and drop them here. Okay. I'm gonna now go back to the content folder, disable the static mesh filter, and bring down this window to just about there. I'm also gonna close up this window, and I'm gonna move this window somewhere around here. Okay, so I'm just gonna now select all these assets, these foliage assets, and in here you can see that we have some settings. I'm just gonna tweak this scale setting. I'm gonna set the minimum value to 1 and maximum value to 2. And I'm just gonna scroll up in here and adjust the paint density as well. I'm gonna set the paint density to, I think the paint density looks good. So so let's find an asset to paint around some foliage. I'm just gonna move my view just about there. And let me just close this window as well. There we go. And come on. I'm just gonna get closer to this thing like so. And use my left mouse button to paint around some foliage. You can press and hold shift on your keyboard to erase anything if you want. But for the most part, I'm just gonna use my left mouse button to, paint around the foliage. I'm also gonna paint some foliage in between these cavities as well. And pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy stuff. All you have to do is to press and hold your left mouse button to paint the foliage. Yeah. So it looks good. Let's enlarge this window and see how this thing looks like. I think it looks good, but I still need to paint some foliage in here as well. There we go. Let me just enlarge this window again. And yeah, I think it looks good. We're gonna paint some bigger instances of foliage in here as well, but for now, I think it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna split this window again and let's find another asset to paint around some foliage. Let's go ahead with this one. And I'm just gonna press and hold my left mouse button to paint some foliage around this asset. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Let's paint some foliage in this area as well. You can also paint some foliage in the back as well, but for the most part, I think it looks good enough. Yeah, I think for the most part, this looks pretty good. Let's find another asset to paint around some foliage. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead with this one and let's paint some foliage in here. Yeah, I think it looks good. Let's paint some foliage on the sides as well. And I'm gonna paint some foliage on the side as well. Let's enlarge this window. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Perhaps a little bit more foliage in here. And maybe a little bit here as well. Let me just erase this one. And I'm gonna enlarge this window. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna split this window and let's find another asset. Maybe I think I should paint some foliage around this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint some foliage in here. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Let's paint some foliage in here as well. And let's enlarge this window. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so where else can we put some more foliage? I think we should put some foliage in here. I'm just gonna split this window and just gonna move my view somewhere around here. I'm just gonna paint some foliage in here. I think the size is perhaps a little bit too much. For that, I'm just gonna open up this window. Come on. And I'm just gonna bring down the minimum value to zero point 0.1 and maximum value to 1. Okay. Let me just bring this window here and let's paint some foliage. There we go. I think it looks good. Perhaps I should erase some foliage instances from here. Maybe I should paint some foliage in here. Let me erase this one. Yeah, I think now it looks pretty good. Okay. And let's find another position to place some foliage. I think we can place some foliage in here as well. But first, I'm just going to open up this foliage setting and set the minimum value to, I think 0.1 is good. For the maximum value, I'm just going to set 0.5. And I think I should also increase the paint density. I'm just going to increase this to 0.05. And come on, bring this window here. Let's now paint some foliage. I think this is enough. Let's enlarge this window and see how this thing looks like. Perhaps a little bit foliage here. And yeah, I think for the most part, the foliage looks good in here. We'll still have to place some bigger instances of foliage in here. And this one looks good as well. So does this one and this one. Okay. So let's now just split this window and bring in some bigger instances. I'm just gonna open up this menu and set the minimum value to 3 and maximum value to 4. Maybe I should set the minimum to 2 and the maximum value to 3 because I think 4 is quite a big number. And I'm just going to also decrease the paint density to 0.025. Okay, let's bring this window here. I'm gonna get closer to this asset. Okay, let's now paint some bigger instances in here. I'm gonna erase this one. Come on, there we go. Maybe place some instances in here. Maybe a few instances in here as well. Okay, let's enlarge this window and see how this thing looks like. Yeah, looks pretty good. Maybe a few instance. Maybe I should erase this area. I'm just gonna now split this window and I'm gonna erase up this area a little bit because this is perhaps a little bit too dense. I'm just gonna enlarge this window now and yeah, I think now it looks a lot better. Okay, let's place some bigger instances at this point. Yeah, let's enlarge this window and yeah, I think it looks good. I'm gonna now split this window again and maybe paint some foliage instances at this point, perhaps. There we go. I'm gonna make this window bigger again. And yeah, I think now it looks pretty good. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this one as well. I'm gonna get closer to this asset, paint some bigger instances in here, and maybe a few in here as well. Let's enlarge this window. And yeah, I think it looks good. Let me just split this window again. I'm gonna place a few instances here as well. And I think I should erase this one. That's perhaps a little bit too much. Come on. There we go. And maybe just place a few in here. Let me maximize this window and looks pretty good. Let's now move on. Place some instances in here. I'm just gonna get closer to this asset and paint some foliage here. Maybe not here, just about here, maybe. I'm gonna also paint a few instances in here, like so. Let me enlarge this window. And yeah, I think it looks good. Let's split this window again. And perhaps that's a little bit too dense, so I'm just gonna erase a few of them. I'm also going to erase a few instances from here. And let's now add some foliage here. Yeah, I think now it looks good. Let's add some foliage in here as well. And I'm gonna maximize this window. Um, Not good enough. Maybe I should place some foliage in here as well. And let me enlarge this window again. Yeah, I think now it looks much better. Okay. I'm gonna split this window again and let's now paint some foliage. Um, at this area. Yeah, I think I somehow overlooked this asset. No problem. We're gonna just paint around this asset as well. Let me just enlarge this window. And yeah, you can see it looks pretty good. Let me just split this window again. And I think I'm almost done, but I still have to paint some foliage at this area. Okay. So let's paint some bigger instances in here, just about this area. There we go. Okay. And I'm just gonna paint some foliage in here as well. Let me enlarge this window. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna now split this window and I think I should also paint some foliage around this asset. Okay. I believe it's this one. Uh, no, it's this one. Okay. So I'm just gonna bring up the foliage settings. Come on. There we go. I'm just gonna type in here the minimum value of, let's say, zero point 0.1 and the maximum value of maybe 1. I'm also going to increase the paint density as well to 0.05. I'm just gonna now close up this window and let's paint some foliage in here as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna now enlarge this window again. And no, I don't think it looks so good. I'm just gonna split this window again. And I think I painted the foliage all around this asset, which was not a very good idea. So I'm just gonna erase these instances and paint some foliage here. Let me erase some foliage from here as well. And I'm just gonna now paint some foliage here and maybe a few of them in here as well. Let's now enlarge this window. I think now it looks a lot better. Okay. Let's now go back into the selection mode and I'm gonna bring up this window in here. Let's also bring up the details panel and the outliner as well. I'm gonna enlarge this window. And this is the actor of all the foliage instances that we have in our shot. So if I'll hide this thing, you can see that we don't have that much of a detail without these foliage assets. But if I unhide this thing, you can see that it looks a lot better. Okay. So that's pretty much it for today's lesson. And I'll see you guys in the next one.